So today I want to talk a little bit about the idea of listening to the market. And I made some notes that I want to share to you. And this is something that I've been talking about actually for a very long time. And without being kind of vague about it, without getting too specific about it. And so more and more, the more I talk about it lately, people are asking me, well, what do you mean listen to the market? And how exactly do you listen to the market? And so that's me actually listening to the market when I get asked that question to say, all right, it's time to turn that into content. So that's your first tip, right? When someone says, what do you mean by that? What are you talking about as it relates to your business, of course? That is content. So I am turning this idea of listening to the market into a bunch of content. And even this video is going to be part of that content, of course. So I thought I would break it down. That's actually very often my process. I'll take an idea, and then little by little, I just keep deepening it, keep adding to it, keep improving it. And I want to point to that actually also as a way to create content, because I find that often people take an idea and then they do it and then they put it out there and then they move on to the next idea. And you can do that, but it's kind of a waste of an idea. So I want you to always be thinking about ways that you can add and update and improve and deepen your content ideas and change them and add different examples, because that way you'll get more mileage with them. So that's what I'm doing with this idea of listening to the market. And the way I used to talk about it actually was I used to say that everything flows from the market. And I still think about it that way, but I think it's easier to think about it in terms of listening to the market, because that's something you can do. And I do submit to you that if you listen to the market, what you don't have to do as a result is rack your brain. And that's what I find people doing most of the time, is racking your brain for what am I going to talk about? How am I going to say it? What's the best way to say it? And this idea basically means that you can stop racking your brain and instead open your ears, gear your attention outward is another way that I think about it, and listen to what the market is telling you. And usually the market is smarter than you are. I have always found that the market is smarter than I am if I am willing to listen to it. But the trick is that it requires interaction. You can't be hiding behind anything. It really does require that you interact. Listening requires interaction. So I've broken it down into 3 different types of listening. One is listening for a niche or for your niche, or more than one, because I do like to sometimes put them in the plural. The second one is listening for your marketing content, which is different from your content marketing. So your marketing content is the language you use to describe what you do and for whom and how you do it. That is your marketing content. It's what's on your website, for example, but not on your blog. Your blog, if you have one, or your LinkedIn profile, the articles that you publish to your LinkedIn profile, is your content marketing. And so that's the third piece. How do you listen for content for your content marketing? And just as a reminder, content marketing is one of the 3 marketing tools in the Simplest Marketing Plan. The other 2 are targeted outreach and strategic networking. And actually, more and more people are little by little going back out into the world. It's true. At the moment, it's happening. I'm getting stories of people doing strategic networking in person and in real time. So that's a choice, obviously. But coming back to the first one, so listening for the niche or the niche, as it were. And, the story that I always tell about myself is, my niche, as y'all know, because you're in it, is creative professionals, people marketing what I consider to be, or what you consider to be, creative services. But I didn't come up with that myself. I listened to the market. I looked around, 33 plus years ago now, at all the people I knew who were creative people, and they were very disorganized, and they weren't promoting themselves. And I saw the need. And so I just tried to offer my help. That's actually something I said recently that someone kind of quoted. So I'll say it again. Self-promotion is not about pitching your ideas or yourself to anyone. It's about offering to help the people who need your help. And if you just reframe it in your mind that way, it might be a little bit easier to do. So that's what I did kind of naturally, kind of unconsciously at the very beginning. I just looked around. What do the people I know seem to need, and what would they be willing to pay for it? At the time, it was, I think, $15 an hour I was charging. It's a little bit more now. But that is how my market found me, basically. And I really think if you listen to the market, your niche, your market will find you. It might take time, but it's more organic that way. And it works better that way than you trying to force yourself onto a particular market. So just be listening for what market is out there that I have access to that needs my help, and then be offering your help to them. Another version of this, I'll use Holly Morris, who is a copywriter, who some of you may know, as another example. She is and was positioning herself as a copywriter for travel and tourism. And then when the pandemic hit, that wasn't working so well, but a subset of that market actually started finding her, and that was the vacation rental area of the travel and tourism world. And so she just started to get a couple clients, a couple referrals, and helping them and serving their needs. But it didn't quite occur to her until I pointed it out that that is the market speaking to her, and that she should listen to it and say, all right, that's my niche now. That's where I'm going to focus. That's who I'm going to speak to. Those are the needs I'm going to speak to, and those are the people I'm going to go looking for, right? So again, it could be right in front of you, and you may not just see it quite yet.